Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you. Today, we are going to talk about data extensions, and then we are going to see that how data extensions are different from list. Whenever we want to store the data in Marketing Club, we have two ways. Either we can store it in list or the data extension. We only have two different data structures where we can store. Now we can extend that two different data structure and can make multiple variations out of it. For example, we have the list, and now if you will filter the list, we can have a group. If you will choose some of the subscribers randomly from a particular list, then we can have a random group, right? Similarly, we will understand the publication list, suppression list, and all these lists. But primarily, we have only two structures where we can store the data, either list or the data extensions. Whenever discussing about the list, we show some of the advantages and disadvantages. In list, we can see that if you know it is simple to use, it is simple to create. We just have to provide a name of the list and it will be created automatically. We don't need to worry about all the fields that we need to create, about the data types, nothing like that. Once we just write the name, all the fields will be pre-populated. But the other disadvantage is that we cannot have different set of attributes and different lists. All the lists will contain same set of attributes, and by mistake, if somebody deletes one of the preference attribute or the profile attribute, then it will be deleted from all the lists, right? There are few challenges that we observed and we encountered. Today, we are going to see that how we can overcome all those problems with the help of data extensions. I will do one thing first of all. I will create a folder. Now, in this folder, we are going to create our data extension. Now, what is the data extension? It is a table only, right? Like the list. It has got some column and it has got some columns, and we have we can import the data, export the data, these kind of things. Whenever we create a data extension, it asks what type of data extension we want to create. First one is the standard data extension. That is something we are going to create from scratch. Next one is the filtered one. As the name says, we are going to filter the reports from the standard data extension. Filtered data extension is similar to the filtered group in which we apply the criteria. We apply the filter on any list and then we get the segment. We get the filtered reports in a filtered group. Similarly, in filtered data extension, we are going to apply the criteria on a standard data extension and we will get the filtered reports in the filtered data extension. We will take a look at it in a while, and then the random data extension is similar to the random groups, where we are going to pick some of the subscribers randomly from the data extension. First, let's go ahead with the standard data extension, and whenever we create a standard data extension, we have again three different ways and how we want to create it. First one is the name.
Let's take a look at it first of all, and then we will talk about the other two options as well. Let's provide a name, let's say Amazon customers. This is the name that we want to give external key. If we provide it, we can provide that at the provider, it will automatically generate the external key. Our description we can provide. Let's say this. We can say this data extension stores personal information. Now we can choose the location. It is this folder only. And then here we have two different check boxes, extendable and adjustable. That is something we are going to talk about in a while. What are these two check boxes? Next, we have retention setting data. Retention policy says that how long you want to keep this data in this data extension. Like Marketing Cloud as a tool, serves the purpose to communicate with the customers or to engage with the customers. Now it is not meant for the data storage, basically. Now, in some cases, this might happen that we are storing the data in a data extension and after, let's say, 1 month or 2 months or 6 months, we do not need this data anymore. What we can do, we can delete this data, but if we will do this manually, that every month we are checking, what data needs to be deleted, it would be very difficult task and somebody, has to take up this entire thing. What we can do, we can have this thing, all this data to be deleted automatically. How we can do that with the data retention policies? It says we have 3 different options. That first one is that if you want to delete individual records, it means that this time period will be applied on individual record. Once we add a record, since then the time will start, and once that record has stayed for 6 days, it will be deleted automatically. Once the report has been there in the data extension for 6 days, it will be deleted. We can change it to weeks, months, years, or maybe let's say after 1 day. Next option, we have the all records and data extension. In that case, what will happen after 1 day? All the records and the data extension itself will be removed from the system. And in the third option, only all the reports. Doesn't matter that that particular record was added, few hours ago, or maybe let's say last year or whatever it is. But after 1 day, it will delete all the reports, but the data extension will remain as it is. We create one table in Excel. Right in table, we have structure, fields, columns, and like. We have this entire structure, and then we have the data. With this third option, only the reports, only the data will be deleted, but the table will exist, only the columns, table name. The entire structure of the table will still exist. This is how we can apply the retention policy. If you want to delete, if we are, sending the email communication every day and we see, maybe 1 month is a good enough time to audit, or maybe if you want to look back and see that if from something is wrong, or if you want to, analyze the data, that is fine. But once the data becomes older, we don't want to keep the animal in the system. In that case, we can apply this data retention policy and it will automatically delete. Let's say if you want to choose generally, if you are using, we generally choose 3 months. That after 3 months, all the reports or maybe the individual report should be deleted. For now, I'll keep it off and we'll record the next button. Now in the added table, we have columns here. We are going to pay the columns let's say first name, last name, and whenever we register for, Amazon or maybe an e-commerce website, there are different items or tasks, right? It asks us for the first name, last name, email address, right? And then the phone number and our like city, say state, zip code, right? Anything else anybody want to add whenever we register? Like what all information it asks for. I think this should be enough. Now we need to choose a data type. Data type basically tells us that what kind of data in this particular field. If you are choosing the data that has text, it means we can store a B, D, 1, 2, 3, that any character we can store. This should be the text. This should be the text for the email address. We have this data type called email address, which will ensure that we are only storing the email address value and not any other value. If we have, at the red.com, in the end, the marketing cloud, detects if it is .com, it means we are storing a valid email address, or maybe like could be invalid also, but this index wise, it should be valid. Now, phone number for phone number, we have this phone number data type, which makes sure that, at least we should have 10 characters, 10 digits, and we cannot have a B, C, D in the phone number data type, right? State should be text, text, and text. Now, next thing is the length for email address phone. Define the length because it is predefined, and here, if you want to edit the length, we can do that. I think first 50 should be fine, and for all this, they should be fine. But we can change accordingly and we can make up to $4. We cannot go beyond that. If we will do $5, then it will throw that we can only have up to $4. Zip code comes under text. For zip code, I mean, we can put number as well. In number, we can have only numbers like 1, 2, 3. We cannot have a BC. In text, we can have numbers, and like whatever we write, we can text contents in each and every character. Be it a special character, B, C, 1, 2, 3, any character we like is accepted under text type time. Next thing we need to define is a primary key. A primary key. It is asking us that which column that you want to make as a primary key. Primary, whatever column will make as a primary key, that column cannot have, null value, and it cannot have a duplicate value. These are the two conditions which should be satisfied if we are making any column as a primary key. Let's say if we make a first name as a primary key, the first column, the first name column, cannot have a blank value in any of the records and cannot have a duplicate value. But in real-time scenario, that is not the case. I mean, two different customers can have the same first name, right? We cannot make first name as a primary key. Last name can also be duplicated. Email address, I mean, generally it is not duplicating, but let's say sometimes it can be duplicated. If a family is sharing the email address among different family members, write a phone number, we can make it as a primary key. But there is something that we can do. Customer id will always be unique, right? And we cannot have any customer where customer id is null. There could be, a few like customers of where the phone number is no, right? They are not sharing their phone numbers, whatever they like. It depends on us that what we want to make it as a mandatory or what we want to make it as an option. What we are doing is we are making a primary key. Customer it is a primary key. It cannot have a null value or it cannot be duplicated. Next thing, I don't need to define it. Is it a nullable or not? What does it mean? If you check this checkbox, it means it is a nullable. Nullable means that it can have a blank value, it can have a null value, it can have an empty value. We can say that of the first name. We don't want anybody, not put a first name. We want every customer to fill in their first name. We will uncheck this checkbox. It means it is not nullable. It means it cannot be blank. Last name also we can make city, state, zip code as nullable, that these values can be null. For these two values, we don't want this to be null. And last name, we can also have a null. These four fields, for these four fields are optional. We can leave them as blank. But first name, email address, and phone number, these things are mandatory. These are not nullable. Any doubt? And default value. Let's say if we do not provide any value, then it will take this value. New customer. If nobody has any other doubt, let's create this default value. Yes, what is default value? Whenever we create a new record and the customer is not providing any value, then what will happen? It will pick up a default value because here we are saying that it cannot be blank, right? In case the customer is not providing any value, it will show the new customer as a venue. I will show you that how it works with the live example. This is how we can create a data extension. Now let's do one thing. Let's add some reports into this data extension. In case of list, we were having the option over here, right, to create or to add a new subscriber into the list. But here we are not getting this option. Here we have three different options. One is the clear data through which we can, delete all the reports in the data extension. And one is the export. We can export the data into our local system or into FTP server. And then the import, if you want to import the data from a CSV file. And another way that I want to show you, for that we'll have to go to the contact builder, and from there we will access the data extension. When we access the data extension from the contact builder, we will be able to add a record manually. For now, we'll add the record manually, and then we will see later on how we can import the data into data extension. We'll come to data extensions. Here we have this button to add a new report. We'll click on this, and then as you can see, it is picking up this value by default, right? It is pre-populating this value because we have defined this value as a default value and the other fields are not taking any value. Even if you will not provide any value, it will be new question. But if you want to override this, we can obviously do that. But it says that this field cannot be empty. Now we'll add another record, and for a graph technique, if anybody else wants to share their information, please do that, because we'll be triggering the this is all. What happened? Like we are just creating this recording, the data extension, and they are not subscribers yet. Once we send them an email, once we send the email to these email addresses, then Marketing Cloud will create a subscriber recording or such kind of list automatically. You will understand the entire mechanism in a while. For now, I'm just creating these reports, but right now these are not the subscribers. Now we have created all these reports in the data extension. This is how we can provide the value. First of all, now we'll take a look at it. That how we can create another, different type of data extension, and then we'll talk about the mechanism, that how the subscriber record is created and different things. Let me duplicate this tab. This state extension. If you want to create a standard extension, this is how we can do. And if you want to create it from the scratch, now we will see that how we can create a data extension using another method that is called from existing. Let's say we have a requirement. If you want to create a new data extension, but the fields are almost same, as you already have another data extension, what we will do? We will use that data extension as a base, and then you will create another extension on top of it. I'll create this one. I'll hit, and then let's say these are my Amazon customers. I can say Amazon Prime customers. I'll click on the next button, and all these fields will be pre-populated. I don't need to worry about getting all these fields from the scratch. And then data type and everything. Everything will remain same as it is. If I want to add any additional field, or if you want to delete any field, that is something I can do, but at least I'll have all these structure pre-populated. I don't need to worry about not getting all these things from the scratch. Let's say we can say is member is active or something like that is active. This will basically stores whether the customer is still active or they still have the active subscription for the Amazon Prime. And we have one more field data type called Boolean. It stores, true or false one. If it is true, it means the customer is still active and we can say membership. Or maybe we can say expiry date, which stores when is the subscription is going to expand, and this cannot be null. Let's say this can be null and this cannot be null. We click on create button. Here what we are doing, we are storing all this basic information. Plus we are adding 2 more attributes or 2 more fields which stores the things about. The primary question is that are they active or not, and what is the expiry date for the subscription? Role, is there any limitations to add fields like characters? Is there any maximum limit, or how is it? There's no hard limit on number of fields that we can create, but it is recommended that we should not have more than 20 or 30 fields, because it again affects the performance of raw data retrieval and these kind of things. There's no hard limit, but we should be limited to the 20 or 30 fields in our invented extension. Does that answer your question? Yes, thanks. No problem. Now we'll see that the third way to create a data extension, and that is the platform template. When we choose the platform templates, these are the predefined templates given by marketing tools. We have not created these templates and we do not have a permission or move. We do not have a flexibility to create a template. Also, we'll be talking about the templates in detail in upcoming session, but just to give you a glimpse how it works is that let's say we can choose any template, for example, and then we click on the next button. What happens? That it will give us some of the pre-populated fields which are non-editable. We cannot edit them. We cannot delete them. These will be as it is, and this will come from the template. Now, if you want to add any additional field, that is something we can do, but we cannot touch and we cannot play around with the pre-populated fields. We'll understand the use of the templates. How do we use them? Over whatever. And what is the purpose of templates and all these things in maybe in the next or in the next session, or maybe in 2 or 3 sessions. Now let's take a look at the filter data extension. Filter data extension is all about filtering the report side. Now what I want to do, that I have, let's say, a master data extension which is Amazon customers. Right, this is my master data extension, and all the different customers information is stored in the pre-populated extension. Now I want to target the customers based on their, let's say, city, or based on their location, that if they reside in this particular state. Maybe there is some offer going on for that particular location and we want to target them separately, right? Or whatever the criteria could be. But if you want to filter the records and what to put all those reports in our separated extension, then we can create a filter data extension, the concrete button, and then we'll choose the filter data extension. We'll have to choose one data extension over here on which we are going to apply the criteria. I'm going to apply the Amazon customers and click on, and here we can build the criteria. Let's say where city is equals to. Let's say what it will do for all the reports, for all the customers. Basically, it will filter and then it'll put all those reports into this data extension that we will take. We can say Amazon and we'll click on Save button, and what it will do. It will process the criteria and then it will give me all the records where the condition is satisfied. It is in the processing. Let's wait for a minute. Can we have multiple filters in the same record? We can have apart from country, maybe gender, maybe based on an age group or whatever it is. I mean, it is just totally customizable. You can have an age group, you can have gender, you can have, interest, I mean, whatever it is. It is not just a little bit to all these fields. Whatever field that we have, we can just apply the practical. I think the city was new to me. Actually, it was not. And we can have multiple conditions. Let me edit the filter. It was you. We can have and all. We can say this. It is equals to Hyderabad and age group should be between like 20 to 30 and gender should be, let's say, more than a few years or maybe like whatever it is. I mean, you can have multiple criteria different to apply the filter. We have got one report now. Let me finish this. Basically, it goes to have that. We have got that one. Similarly, we can apply any criteria and we can have the filter request into the filter data search. Here also, we are just talking about preparing the target audience. Let's say, if you have the master gate extension where a few lakhs customers are stored, we don't want to target them all, right? Maybe we want to target them all in case, server is down or something like that. If a global issue is if the global issue occurs, then what we want to do, we want to target all the customers that we have in our database. But generally, what we want to do that we want to target only the segment of the question aside. We don't target all the customers in one go, maybe with the same email communication. Click on the create button now and we'll go with the third data extension, that is random one. Random data extension, allows us to pick the subscriber with the records randomly from a selected data extension. We'll choose this Amazon customers. And what we want to do, we to choose 2 subscribers randomly. I'll say for the course, and we can add up to 12 random data extensions. And we can create up to 12 random data extension out of one data extension. We can add. Right up to 12 we can add. what I want to do, that let's say I want to choose two different papers. It is a different criteria from the standard of exchange. I can say Amazon random estimates, and as you can see, when it has randomly picked two customers, we had not defined any criteria. We don't know what all these do. It says in class, and please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.